All right, here with more is the host of the Right View podcast. Lara Trump is back with us. Lara, good to talk to you. Let me ask you what I was asking Joe Tacopina, and that is your father-in-law, the former president, on Tuesday, he'll get fingerprinted, he'll get a mugshot, maybe handcuffs, maybe not handcuffs, maybe perp walk, maybe not perp walked, and we'll have to make a plea in a court of law. This has never happened in American history. This is the same guy that went through, well, you lived through it all. You know, since the moment he came down that escalator at Trump Tower, you know, it's been the Mueller investigation, Russia, you know, one impeachment and another impeachment. It never seems to end, does it?
It never seems to end. Here we are. I mean, you just read out some of the greatest hits of the Democrats. And the truth is, we all know what this is about, Sean. These third-rate, third-world communist tactics that they're employing, it's not just to prosecute Donald Trump. It is to persecute Donald Trump, because you said it from the moment an outsider dared come down that escalator in Trump Tower and announce he was running for president without the help of the lobbyists, without the help of the special interest groups and the establishment. He became their enemy number one. And they are petrified that Donald Trump is going to end up back in that White House. So instead of letting the people of this country vote and actually decide on it, they decided to take matters into their own hands here. We obviously crossed a line yesterday in the United States of America, and we can never come back from that. Things will never be the same as they have been since the inception of America, starting yesterday. You and Joe were just talking about it. It is so dangerous, the precedent that was set here, and it is all over the hatred of one man. If you can weaponize the United States judicial system against your political opponent, we are no better than communist China, than Cuba, than the communist Russia, than North Korea, quite frankly. And I gotta say, Alvin Bragg, Sean, ought to be ashamed of himself. I left New York City. He has no shame. Because it is so bad there. When he is letting criminals run free, downgrading felonies to misdemeanors, and this is where the taxpayer money in New York City is going, it is an absolute disgrace.
So my friend, my colleague, I mentioned in the monologue, Pete Hegseth, on last night, you know, talked about what the left has wanted for so long, and that is a mugshot. And he predicted that that mugshot is going to be on more hats, more T-shirts than anyone will ever imagine. And I believe you're probably going to see maybe on the back it'll say MAGA, and maybe it's also going to say Trump 2024, and that will be the mugshot. But that will be used. Will that backfire? Will that boomerang in your view?
I think all of this will backfire. Here's what I can tell you. In the 24 hours post-indictment, the Trump campaign raised $4 million. A quarter of the donors were first-time donors to the Trump campaign, because, Sean, people look at this and they see it very clearly. The American people are very smart and very savvy. And despite what the Democrats and the mainstream media have tried to do by poisoning all of us, they see this for what it is, and they know that there is one person who will actually go into that White House and fight for the American people. There's one person who is able to expose the swamp. There is one man, and his name is Donald Trump, and they can try anything they want. Their goal is to get him to drop out. Their goal is to get him to stop. I can guarantee you right here, right now, tonight, that day will never come. He will move on. He will go forward, and I predict he'll be our 47th president.
You know, I will tell you, if my last name were Trump, I would be very angry at what is a very clear and distinct double standard. And, for example, one standard of justice for the Trumps, but another standard for the Bidens, for the Clintons, for Jim Comey, the deep state. Do you find that frustrating? Because I think that would frustrate me.
It's really frustrating. Are you kidding me, Sean? If one of us as little as jaywalked, they'd lock us up and throw away the key. We know that. They combed through 11 million documents from the Trump organization involving my father-in-law. They couldn't come up with anything. Yet you got a treasure trove of evidence with Hunter Biden's laptop, evidence that the Bidens have, you know, used the position of Joe Biden as senator, as vice president, at least, to enrich their family. You talked about Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign and how They actually committed the crime that my father-in-law is accused of doing here. They got a slap on the wrist. But what about the tens of millions of taxpayer dollars that went into the Russia collusion hoax because of that dossier? What about the 2 years of our lives that none of us in America will ever get back because of that? Who pays for that? When do they have their day? It is very frustrating, I think, as a member of our family. But Sean, we're all used to it at this point. This is how it goes if your last name is Trump.
Well, let me ask you about that.
We know we're fighting for the right side of history here.
I have known the entire family for a long, long time, since I've known the president, long before he ever thought about running for president. And I know all of you are strong. I had Don Jr. on radio today. Eric, your husband, last night was on the show. I know all of you. I know the entire family. I know the president. And you're all strong. But at some point, you know, do you begin to get to the point, why not play golf every day and say enough is enough of this? Obviously, half the country is insane, and they want to criminalize political differences. It's got to be frustrating as hell, no matter how strong you may be. And by the way, how is the whole family holding up? And have you talked to the president?
I have. I saw him today. I took my kids to see him, actually, after I picked them up from school. I got to tell you, he was in great spirits. I have never met someone who could take as much as Donald Trump. I mean, you would be hard-pressed, Sean, to find anyone anywhere who has given up as much in current time as Donald Trump has for this country. He said it in an Oprah interview in the 80s. He would run if he felt he had no other choice. He felt he had no other choice in 2016. He was willing to give it all up. Man, has he given up a lot at this point. And he's still willing to fight on. He's still willing to take the arrows, to take whatever comes his way, because I think he truly knows that he is just about the only person who can turn this country back around, who can bring us back to the great America that we once were. But yes, it gets frustrating. Yes, it gets tiresome. But, you know, for all of us in our family, I can't tell you, when people come up to us and say, we're praying for you, we're praying for your family, your father-in-law, nothing means more to us. We feel it. I think everyone in this country feels that this is not just about Republican versus Democrat. This is about good versus evil. There is spiritual warfare going on in America right now. I got to tell you, there is one man up above who is leading all of us, and that's who we're looking to. So whenever it gets tough, we think about this country, we think about what we're fighting for, and we continue on.
We'll agree on that point. God is in charge, that's for sure. Lara Trump, great to see you. Thank you for being with us.